My name is Ian Flanagan, and I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer here at Sauce Labs. In today's discussion, we're going to talk about how you might leverage the Sauce Headless product offering in your current DevOps pipeline and what some of the benefits of utilizing this new product offering would be to you and to your teams. So right now what we're looking at is an automation execution result in the headless environment. So a couple of key things to point out. If you're an existing Sauce Labs customer, this probably looks very familiar to you. We can see all the steps that were taken as the script was executed. We capturing screenshots here. We have the log files, the Selenium log, the Automator log, and then the metadata here where I can download the screenshots. So before we get into the headless product offering, I want to talk so people understand clearly what headless can do and what it cannot do. So the way I look at it, it's more kind of a stripped down version of our existing offering. So with headless today, some of the things that you can't do are a live or manual testing session. If you're used to using extended debugging and generating HAR files, that's not an option in headless. We don't capture the video in the headless offering. Also, if you notice here that this ran on Linux, so our headless environment is leveraging containers and not virtual machines. So the containers are running the Linux operating system only. And at this juncture, we're only supporting the current 3 versions of Chrome and Firefox. So you may be asking, well, what is the primary use case for headless? We see headless as being very complementary to our current VM offering. Where we see the primary use case for headless are things like early pipeline testing and fast feedback that the development team is going to desperately need. So one example would be, let's say I'm a developer, I've committed some code and I want to run a quick test to make sure I didn't break anything. In this scenario, I don't necessarily need to test every different browser OS combination. I just want to know, did my code break something else? Great, ideal use case for the headless offering. So without any further ado, let's go over and look at an automated test case. So again, this is a Java example, very familiar. Should look like any other sort of Java test you have if you're running existing tests on our desktop browser offering. A couple of things I wanted to point out. You're still going to pass in the Sauce username and Sauce access key. Now these are going to be the same username and access key that you would use to write and run an automated test against our virtual device cloud, the emulator, simulator, or desktop browser. So that would be the same. The only difference is going to be this endpoint is going to be slightly different. It's going to be ondemand.uf-east-1.saucelabs.com. So that's going to be the only big difference. The only other difference would be if I created a Sauce Connect tunnel. The username, the Sauce username and access key again will be the same, but the endpoint is going to be different as well. Let's go ahead and run a test. And we'll go back to the headless environment and we can see these tests running. So we can see there's 1 or 2 tests left that are running, and we can go ahead and we can drill into this test. We kind of showed you the results of this before, but just again, here are all the steps that were taken in the test, the screenshots, the logs. Wanted to circle back and show you the test specifically. So this test is a basic login test, and it performs a login and then a quick validation to verify I've logged into this responsive web app with the appropriate user, and then logs out. Very simple test. So the reason I'm bringing up tests is that not all the tests are the same. So in certain situations, there are some tests that are great candidates for headless, and there's some that aren't. So a test that would be a great candidate for headless would be a test that was autonomous, and something that probably is going to execute in under a minute. Most of these tests that I was running against the headless environment executed in about under 30 seconds. So those would be ideal candidates for the headless environment. A couple other final things I would point out regarding the headless containers. Again, we're talking about containers against our real device cloud with real devices. Within the context of the pipeline, where we see this fitting again is in early pipeline testing. One great example would be post-commit type of scenarios where post-commit I wanted to check and validate I didn't break something else. If the headless tests pass, then we can graduate in the pipeline and we can run across a wider array of desktop browsers and operating systems. The final thing I would mention regarding the licensing, so the headless containers are at a lower price point than our standard VM price. So this allows customers to potentially purchase more headless containers. They can break up their tests and run across more containers faster and get faster feedback on how their application is performing. So hopefully this demo was helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.